Welcome to our third session. This time we're going to focus on screen design. This is ideal for people moving from Gold Vision 7 to Gold Vision 8. I'm already in the right place for screen design, as you can see. From the cog, just go to Screen Designer. What I've also done is opened up Gold Vision in a separate window. That way I can check my design. For this session we're going to focus on screen design for an opportunity. So here's my designer, and as you can see I've got lots of fields here. I've got some widgets and some other details, and if I have a look at what it really looks like, I can scroll down and that's what my screen looks like. So the screen design is very different from Gold Vision 7, a lot more flexibility. Now you can see that I've got a couple of extra pages here. I've got stage history and I've got quotes. What I can do is I can add or remove pages really easily. So if I were to add a page, let's call this activities. Now I can add a section. When I add a new section, it's the same whether it's on my main details page or any other pages. An overview is where widgets go, and widgets can be charts, counts or tables. A field section contains fields, an information section is for lead management, iframe is where you can have a common website across that object, a list section is where I can place a list from another part of Gold Vision, document storage, it does what it says, and the new gallery section allows you to drag and drop files and images. So I'm going to go for a list section, and I can choose which list I want to display, and I'm happy with the activities. And I've got a save button at the top. If I go back to my opportunity, there's my new page, and if I click on it, I can see a list of activities. The next thing I might want to do is to resize some things. At the moment, everything is full width, and I'd like to break that design up a little. Back to the screen design, I'm going to go down to my overview here with my widgets, and I'm going to make that 50%. I'll also do the same with my correspondence section. That's where notes and emails live. And I'm not using categories on this object, so I'm going to remove them. If I delete anything, it still exists. It doesn't disappear forever. I can also drag different objects around the screen. When I'm happy with it, I can click Save. Then if I go back and take a look at my item, I'm just opening it again to refresh it, and now I can see my correspondence section next to my overview. It's quite handy to know on an opportunity what kind of an account it is. If I add a field, I can choose opportunity fields, but also fields above it in the hierarchy. So I'm going to add the account type field to my screen. So that's a field from a parent item. I can create new fields as well dynamically, and one of the new types of fields that you can create now is a multi-selection. I've created one already. Do remember to save your screen design when you're creating new fields, and I can add that field. A multi-selection field is a bit like a drop option, but instead of having one option to choose from, I can have many. If you delete fields from a screen, any data that they hold is still in your database, just like Gold Vision 7. Configuring drop options is a little easier. I have my settings, whether a field is mandatory or not, whether to use a field to identify duplicate items. I have my field security, so who can see a field and who can edit a field, and there's my GDPR functionality. For my drop options, I can choose my parent drop and I can configure my options here. Adding new options is a quick click of the mouse, and highlight colours are more obvious. Drop paragraphs are really straightforward, and if I've chosen a parent drop, I see all the options in here, so they're very easy to click through and add. The next thing I'm going to do is add a widget. I'm going to scroll down the screen a little. I'll make this one narrower so it doesn't take up all the room, and I'm going to add a new overview section. This overview section is going to contain a chart. So I'm going to give it a name and create a new widget. First off, choose your source of data. I'm choosing quotes. Let's do a column chart by type and value, and for series order, let's see who created the quotes. Let's save that and take a look. So there's my account type from the account field, my overviews, my correspondence, and there's my chart. So I can place widgets within items. Next, I'm going to add a gallery section. I'll just manage this to make it smaller, and I can edit a chart once I've created it if I want to change it. So my screen's really taking shape. Next, let's assume that we only want to fill some fields in when I progress to a certain stage. I can now add rules. So I'll make it slightly larger, and I'll add a rule to this whole section. Let's fill this in when my stage goes to qualified, proposed, preferred solution, contract negotiations, or 1. I can also change the visibility by team if I want to. So let's see our screen taking shape. Quick refresh. There's my gallery section. And if I edit my stage, my additional fields appear. If I go back to my previous stage, those fields have gone. You can see that my value field has a highlight. That's also done in the Screen Designer. If I look at a list of opportunities, you can see the varying colours. So for fields that are numeric or date fields, you can add highlight rules. These rules are evaluated from top to bottom. So here's my first rule. If that's not met, it will move down to my second rule, my third rule, and carrying on down. I can change the order of my rules, delete them, and when it comes to the colours, you get to pick from here, or even add in the hex ref. The last thing I might want to do is change the whole icon for an opportunity. So I can rename entire objects and I can manage my options here. So I can change the icon, nearly 3,000 to choose from, and I can change the colour. In addition to the screen design changes, there are some list design changes too. You now have a list design section here where you can change the main lists, additional lists, pickers and sublists. So I can even redesign a list for, say, my quote items. So that's it, you're ready to get going with your screen design.